Hello everybody, thank you for joining me for this session. This session is the continuous session for the training of cybersecurity and ethical hacking. Today we'll talk about the integration diagrams, for the security operation, information and risk management. This is the lower level diagram or design. Show me the actual integration between the security entities for operational and management, where we have here three layers. The first layer, which is the leadership layers and the management layers. This is called the management boards or board of managements, as we return to the previous slide to just revise those. So in this slide, as we mentioned last time, we have a business continuity, which is the board of management. They are responsible their company organization, strategic, and to keep their continuity. Those are head of other main entities inside the organization, like we have chief security, we have chief security officer, and we have chief security information officer, then we have cybersecurity. So as we mentioned, those all are responsible for the security postures. Those all of them, they give a report back to a business continuity team, which is a board of management, to check about the security posture in the company, which is matched or aligned with the regulations and policy for this organization, to keep business continuity. So one of those main entities, like chief information security officer, also can be managing other cybersecurity team, and this, it has different security area. Those security area is a part of SOC, which is Security Operation Center. We'll talk about it in the next slide as well. Just give you a small brief about last session, and to continue, this is a higher level of design for the security company structure inside any organization or company. So return back to this slide, which we talk about more details. So as we mentioned, we have three layers, which is a board of management. We already discussed for this business continuity board of management, where those receive the report about the security postures from the different entities, and those entities, last time we talked about CSO and CISO, Chief Information Security Officer and Chief Security Officer. They are managing the other layer inside the organization, which is technical risk management and cyber security technical as well, and also IT staff and IT networking departments. So all of this entity work together as this workflow we'll see here. So this technique, so those head the lower departments or sub business unit. As we see here, we have a compliance management. Those departments, they are responsible to reach or to align the policies and the compliance based on the international standards regulations for better security postures, because they have the best security practice. They need to be sure they are conducting those practice and assure for the compliance for their department or for the holistic or entire organization. So we have security architecture department. They are responsible for different security for people, for application and data, for infrastructure endpoints, and identity keys. So for example, if we talk about infrastructure endpoints, we have different security endpoints, devices, and also we have, for example, vulnerability management. We have some tools related to security to deploy for analysis and forensics. For example, we have endpoint security look like EDR and XDR, okay, for more advanced threat detection. This is called endpoint detect and response. This extend endpoint detect and response, which is better for malware, sophisticated malware. Okay, so those related to infrastructure and endpoints. Okay, so those management departments are responsible for this security for all of those different entities inside the networks. Okay, then we have application teams, as I mentioned earlier in the previous slide. Those database management teams, they are responsible for the data security, to keep data encrypted and have some security measurement for data. Okay, so also we have identity teams to be sure about the user identity and the other, for example, security control like network access controls, based on how, who, what, when, where the user need to access the data, maybe in which area is allowed, not allowed, maybe they have deploy zero-day trust approach and so forth. So also we have another department called SOC. SOC stands for Security Operations Center. Okay, this is a very important department or center inside any enterprise or large enterprise, private company or government company, or even for national, there's national SOC also, based on the countries, to discover any attacks or threats coming from different countries. Okay, so let's talk about the SOC. SOC, we have many departments. First of all, we'll talk about we have team department. They have 4 tiers. Okay, we mentioned those 4 tiers are responsible for daily incident response inside the organization to keep the posture of security is optimal. So let's talk about those tiers. We have tier 1, which is security analysis. They are monitoring and trying to detect the security alerts continuously, okay, from different resources, because as I mentioned, there's a SIEM. SIEM is security information and event management are a very important part from SOC. Without SIEM, there's no SOC. I will talk about SIEM in the next slide, or maybe in this slide at the end. Okay, so let's say this tier is responsible for gathering or looking for all events from different sources like IPS, IDS, firewall, WAF, which is web application firewall. We have web security, email security, endpoint security like EDR and XDR. Okay, so those can let's say make preliminary analysis for those security incidents and classify them in severity. Like we have, let's say, very critical incidents, very important incidents, and so far. The most important things we need to remediate or mitigate those critical and very important incidents. It can compromise our network security postures. Okay. Then we have second tier, which is incident response, because the incident response, they are conducting analysis in depth for the escalated incidents. The previous tier 1 with security analysis, also from their duty to escalate the incidents to the second layer, which is the incident responders, and those will do the analysis deeply for escalating incidents to understand the scope and impact. Scope mean, for example, if the incident or threat infiltrated inside the organization, okay, and the scope mean this incident originated from which entity or from which device, is distributed with which devices, and exists in which devices. This is the scope of threats or incidents. Okay. Then we need to contain and mitigate those incidents to affect the security postures. Also, do communication and collaboration and cooperation with different IT departments from security and networking team to coordinate for the responses of the incidents to ensure they have proper containment about the incidents. Okay, this is tier 2. Tier 3, we have threat hunters. Threat hunters, those very professional security team, they're doing continuous searching for any vulnerabilities, any threat inside the organization. Okay, and maybe there's some undetected threat, uncovered threat. Okay, they do many techniques and many tools to find those things. Also, they can make advanced forensics. Okay, to perform detailed forensics analysis to discover any sophisticated attack or vulnerabilities. Maybe there's some zero vulnerabilities, or maybe that means there's not discovered yet these vulnerabilities. Maybe they're trying to discover the vulnerabilities and patch it. Okay, so also they can give recommendation for security measures to the upper layer, which is layer 4. They are the management and engineers of the SOC, okay, the security operations centers. They are responsible to observe or overseeing the all or holistic security operations center operations to be sure this aligned with the organization target or goals for security policies and the end for security postures. Okay. Also, they have some management tools to manage and optimize operations. Also, they can report for compliance violation or regulation violation, or maybe provide a report to find to the continuity management about the security posture, if there's any violation of or maybe the compliance for international regulations, okay, and organizations policy as well. All those tiers working together effectively to respond for security incidents to minimize the risk inside the organization. Okay. Also, we have here threat intelligence feeds. Okay. This is external intelligence sources. For example, when we have a SOC, of course, we have many products, security controls. We have SIEM, as mentioned here. We talk about it. Okay. Those security products and SIEM, they should have latest update for the threats and malware are available all over the world, because those vendors who provide the security controls, they have their own research and development department working 24 hours, 7 days. They have very skilled and powerful security experts who are working all the time to find any incidents or any threat, okay, all over the world, and they try to make a patch for these threats. Also, they can cooperate with other vendors for these threats, and they will instantly make update to their security controls, to SIEM, to firewall, for example, to endpoint security like EDR, XDR, to network access control, to contain and mitigate the threat instantly. For example, because when they have let's say, feed the threat intelligence, they will send the signature, okay? For example, the IBS, IDS, they have the latest signature of the threats. When the threat infiltrates inside the firewall, for example, the IBS, IDS, they can detect this threat and block it or eliminate it, okay? This is about the SOC 4 tiers. And I need to talk about SIEM. Okay, SIEM, it is security information and event management, okay? It's a solution to perform several key functions to help organizations to monitor, to detect, to respond to security threats, okay? For example, if you don't know what are happening inside your networks, you cannot protect. So SIEM give the visibility, entire visibility, all your networks, okay? You can see what are happening. Also, SIEM can do log management. It collect all different log from different devices, okay? From network security devices, endpoint security, server, operating system management, database, application, whatever we have devices and application and system inside your networks, it can receive the security logs from them. It can do log management, collect the log, do normalization, analyze the log data from those different resources of the IT infrastructures, okay? Also, it can give visibility to entire networks and can detect any activities, anomaly activities, and can detect security incidents as well. So also it has event correlation, will correlate all events and stitch information from different logs, from different devices, and analyze those security events to identify the patterns and detect potential threats. Also, it can continuously monitoring the network activities in real time, also to detect and respond to security incidents promptly. Also, it do incident management, as we already discussed. There's classify the incidents in critical, very important, and so far, and do more advanced investigation to respond to security incidents. Also, it can receive threat intelligence, as I mentioned already, for faster reply or respond to the emerging threats, okay, and vulnerabilities. Also, it can analyze user and identity behavior, where it can detect the anomalies, potential insider threats from users, and so far, because they are integrated with user and entity behavior analysis, which is UEBA, UEBA, which is user and identity behavior analysis. Okay. Also, it have privileged access management. It can audit, monitor for any privileged user account, if any violation or unauthorized access from the insider threats as well. Also can help the organization to meet regulations and industry-specific security standards by generating a compliance report. As I mentioned already, this report can provide it to the higher level, like information risk management, then provide it to the board of management for business continuity, okay? To observe the security posture violations or the level of security posture, where maybe they need more enhancement for their security controls, maybe they need to revise this policy and regulations for better security operation postures, okay? Also, they can do data protection to ensure security and integrity of sensitive data for any breach of data, because there's a playbooks and rules for the SIEM. It can discover and detect most of the threats and attacks inside the internet networks. So maybe we have to have separate session talk about playbox for the SIEM. Maybe I can talk about a lot of playbooks to understand how to detect the threats and discover the threat and respond to the threats as well. Because integrate the alerts to different security controls for automation, okay, detection, automation response for mitigation and remediation of the incidents as well. So for example, if I need to check for SIEM based vendor, I can go to let's say any website to show you how I can go. Okay, for example, I can go to, so let's talk about the Gartner Magic Quadrant, which can show me the best vendors in 2024 for the SIEM. Okay, this report January 2024. Gartner, if you don't know Gartner, what Gartner is, the research methodology company, provide graphical representation of the market competitive positions for the vendors in specific technologies. Let's say if you're looking for next generation firewall, you can search next generation firewall, let's say Gartner quadrant, Magic Quadrant, for example. But for me, for here, I already searched for SIEM Magic Quadrant for Gartner 2024 to show me this result, okay, where I have many vendors, okay, they are in the leader. We have 4 quadrants. Leader, which is the best, and we have vision, we have challengers, and we have niche players, okay? So let's understand what that means. Before that, we need to understand the vision or completeness of the vision. We need to understand the ability of execute. So let's talk about the vision. Okay, vision means the provider in visionary quadrant have clear vision for how the market will evolve. They understand the market trends and they have innovative ideas. Also, they may not yet have operational capabilities until they have full execution. Okay. Now let's talk about execution. Since we talk about visionary and the vendors who can do execution for this vision, as I mentioned, about the market trends, about the functions, about the evolved innovative ideas, okay, in this domain, and the capabilities. If they be able to execute, that means they are in the leader quadrant with the Magic Quadrant. Okay, those are top vendors in the market for SIEM technologies. Just a brief about Gartner. Okay, not return back to our session. Okay, so for SIEM, why is very important? Because we have a lot of security controls. We have 100,000 of logs. If we have, for example, incidents, we need an army of technical security experts to analyze the logs from different devices, system, applications, and need to correlate. And this will take a lot of time, maybe weeks or months, just to correlate and analyze to get the useful information. But in SIEM, you do all of this in minutes. Okay, reduce the time to discover and detect the malware before doing any bad things inside our networks or damage our resources, for example. So imagine there's very sophisticated malware or threats. For example, some threats are using operating system feature like ADS, which is alternate data stream, to hide their malicious files inside benign files. Also, they have using some hackers or attackers steganography technique to hide some malicious file within other non-normal files. In the maybe after the next session, I will do a small session, maybe 15-20 minutes, about those two methods. ADS, how to hide information using alternate data stream to hide malicious file inside the benign file, like text file, like image file, and so forth. And also I can show you steganography technique, how to hide also malicious file within other known files like image, video, voice, and so forth. So also we have very advanced malware like rootkits, which can hide a malicious code inside the lower operating system layers in BIOS or kernel, okay, layers, where they can obfuscate the antivirus by masquerade itself as a driver inside the kernel layer or the BIOS layer. So also some hackers or attackers using some antivirus or malware editor tools, where they can modify the source code of some viruses to redeploy again, okay, because this will help to avoid detection, because they will change the signature, the fingerprint of this attack will be look like zero-day attack, okay. It can create new payload, okay, the attackers shellcode to generate a new signature. Also can create new viruses from scratch by some tools, and some of them they use also advanced evasion technique. We can send packet out of orders using different layers protocols. Also they have some latency or sleeping code called dormant state, where it can be active later, okay, because some of them can be detected. So some advanced malware can be detected. They can be checked and run inside the virtual environment for sandboxing, for example. They are very malicious and advanced enough to detect their sandboxing, and they will have delay or sleep code, okay, delay code or sleep code called dormant, to not execute inside the environment of sandboxing until not be discovered, and they will delay their execution when they move to the real environment, okay, where they can obfuscate the security controls, but can be detected by the way from security solution, as I mentioned now. SIEM can detect the very advanced and zero-day threats using machine learning, okay. We'll talk about machine learning, how SIEM can, let's say, be useful, reduce the time, automate the response automatically, dealing with big data, because big data requires machine learning, okay, to handle, and many things, because it can improve the threat detection using machine learning and deep learning. We can analyze a fast or a large amount of data to identify the patterns, the anomalies that might indicate security threats, okay. Also they reduce the false positive, and also can help continuous learning, because machine learning based on learning. When they learn more learning, they can have better improvement in accuracy over the times, okay. Also they can do automated response using artificial intelligence, can automate the response to detect threats such as isolated compromised system or block malicious IP addresses, maybe can speed up or accelerate the mitigation process. Also can help to create a black box integration with some approach like SOC, security orchestration and automation and response. Also allows the SIEM to execute predefined playbook. As I promised you previously, I will do a session for this playbooks for SIEM. Is very important. You find the SIEM effectiveness, how it can contain and respond to the make recommendation and respond to this incidents and threats. Thank you for today's session. I hope you enjoy, and please don't forget to subscribe and share, and please wait me for the next session. Thank you.